Good evening and welcome to Gator's Garage, the home of all things historical and science fiction gaming in and around the great city of Savannah, Georgia. You have with you here, of course, your friends Mike and Randy doing the generally weekly Mike and Randy show. Say hi to the folks, Randy.
Hey, everybody.
Oof, we got some bad audio on your side. Say that again.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, there we go. We got him out from underwater. That's excellent. And can you
Whoop,
hear me
whoop,
5x5,
whoop.
by the way, Randy? Can you
Huh?
hear me all right? Can you hear me all
What?
right?
What'd you say?
I love it. Folks, as you can tell, we like to have a good time. Do us a favor, click like, subscribe to get in on more of the antics, and share. Share with your friends, share with your enemies. That's the tool you use to share and to like. Depress the like button. By the way, and Randy, I did not tell you this. Our channel, y'all, have got us up to 300 subscribers.
Woohoo!
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think I got to get to 1,000 before I get monetized. Then
Oh
we'll
boy.
really have to watch Randy's comments.
Yeah, yeah. So
But
my, so my YouTube channel, I think I'm up to like 64 subscribers, which
pretty cool.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
getting there.
yeah. And and we share each other's links, and you should interview me on your channel.
Yeah,
Kind of fun.
we could
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
I think I've had
Actually,
Bo on there and a couple
there
others.
you
Yeah.
go. Cool. Actually, had somebody on Reddit call me a celebrity. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. When I put so I ran a game. I ran a bolt action game this weekend, and I did a standalone video. I did both a video and a write up. And the write up I posted to Reddit and actually wrote it up as a story. Wrote up the after action report that way, and it came out really good. And then I did a video which you guys should have seen drop in your feed. It'll be the one right before this, where I actually read the story and then talked a little bit about the game. It was fun, little 400, about a 500 point game. Randy likes to poke at me because I like these baby games, but for me, they fit within the time constraints that I have, especially usually I'm playing at the house with a couple of rookies running around. So I shudder to think what they'd do with a full 1,200 points of minis on both sides to put their little grubby paws on.
Yeah.
So, but hey, today we are talking about me and Randy's other great passion, and that is Black Powder, American Civil War. And Randy, I think you and I know we've played the old Avalon Hill Battle Cry a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever played the Gettysburg 86 version, 86 version of Gettysburg, but that's a fun one.
I want to say we played the one with counters.
Okay.
Squad
Yeah.
leader counters. I think we played that.
Actually, they're not quite. They're actually, I want to say 1 inch by ½ inch.
Yeah,
They're
the
a little bit
rectangular.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little easier to read and easier to follow. And I think
Yeah.
units are divisions. But yeah, so suffice it to say that Randy and I are big Civil War buffs and definitely big Gettysburg buffs.
Yeah.
And we have had a tradition. Randy, how long have we been doing the Gettysburg game? We were talking about that the day of the Gettysburg. I think even up to the preview.
Well, I know we started it back in Waycross.
That's at least 4 years.
Yeah.
I would call it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we even had a fictional game called the Battle of Waycross. If
Yes.
you remember that one. So yeah, the storyline behind that was there was some federal units in Brunswick, I think, and there were Confederate forces in Waycross and with the rail center there. And when the Union troops advanced, they just basically tore the rails up and booked it. So we did a battle that said, okay, we're not going to give up the ground. We're going to stand and defend Waycross. And that's what we did. And I think the Confederates held off the Union troops in that battle.
Yeah, it was. Now that you mention it, I remember that, and that was a lot of fun. And again,
Yeah.
if you being in South Georgia, where we are, and of course I'm in the fine city of Savannah, when it was we are right along Sherman's line of march. I mean, he cut across from Atlanta and just cut a swath. I think it was 60 miles wide to Savannah. Gets to Savannah, and Savannah's all prepared for a siege, it thinks. Sherman sends a wire to Lincoln and lets it be known. He said he wires Lincoln for siege guns. Then he says, and he got there about December 25th. And he said, Mr. President, I present to you as a Christmas present the city of Savannah. And Savannah surrendered the next day. They're like, yeah, no, we don't want to get the Atlanta treatment. Yeah. And and actually, I have lived, it's kind of funny. In my time in the South, I have lived mostly along Sherman's line of march. Of course, I'm living in Savannah now. I lived in Barnwell, South Carolina, which Sherman marched right on through Hampton County, and then on into what would have then been Aiken County, I think. But there was he actually pursued Banks right across South Carolina and into North Carolina where Banks surrendered to him. But we were right on the line of march. In fact, I used to work in Augusta, and there was a reenactment battle that was done in Aiken, South Carolina every year called the Battle of Aiken, based on an actual battle. Kilpatrick and Joe Wheeler clashed in the streets of Aiken. And I think Kilpatrick was on his way to burn the Augusta Powder Works. So Sherman crossed the Savannah River at Savannah. They were going to recross it and burn the Powder Works. And fighting Joe Wheeler turned back Kilpatrick. And I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Joe Wheeler. One, because he was a young brigadier general, but also he wasn't real tall. He was about 5'5". So I'm like, hey, check it out. Little guys do count.
Yeah, when you're on a horse, you always look taller, right?
Exactly. So there you go. That was that element of history. But hey, back to Gettysburg. So tell us how we got here. So let me go ahead and pull up our briefing materials here. So there we go.
Yeah. So basically, what we did, we actually had two portions of this battlefield set up. We had Heath's attack, and then Early's attack on the first day, where they came in from the north and pushed into Gettysburg and kind of pushed the Union troops back to Cemetery Hill, it was.
Yeah.
And so historically, they made a push towards Culp's Hill, but they stopped at the base. And because of General Lee's order to take the hill if practicable, that little phrase, Ewell decided it wasn't worth trying to push his tired troops up the hill and try to take it. Although there was a Union or Confederate general that said, "You just give me one brigade and I'll take that hill," and he refused to let him do it.
Right. And then the next day, of course, Johnson comes around, tries to take it that day and fails.
So one of the downfalls of this attack was that you see that they marched around to the west, I believe. So far, it took them a long time to get in position. By the time they got to where they could even attack, it was almost dark again.
Interesting.
And one of the problems with this was Lee's plan was for him to attack Culp's Hill at the same time that they were attacking Little Round Top and the Devil's Den to keep the Union from reinforcing the right flank. They really wanted to push the right. And so because this was so delayed, the Union was able to send troops down south to the Little Round Top and basically hold the Confederates off, and it was pretty bloody.
Well, even then, it was a close run thing. If you remember, that was the flank that Chamberlain held, literally by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
So wow. Okay. So that's the history.
Yeah.
Now is not Howard Cosell. Now the rest of the story.
Yeah. Who was that guy?
Oh man, I know. Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey. Yep, that's the Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
So basically, we played both of these. We had because this was day one. We didn't want to do day two, And Lee's orders to Ewell was take that hill at all costs instead of if practicable.
Right.
So that was the theme. And the Confederates really had a tall task. They had to at least Heath's attack had to be at least semi-successful.
Right.
And the Confederates had to take Culp's Hill. Anything less was a Union victory, because a draw meant that it ended up the same way it did historically, and of course the South lost Gettysburg. So.
Right. So here we have the basic. This is the basic layout. Significantly, you got the Iron Brigade there on the backside of Seminary Ridge. And is that right? Yeah, Seminary Ridge. Getting ready to move up. And
engage. The one down in the lower left. That's the Iron Brigade coming up in column.
And y'all, we've got a lot more pictures.
Cutler's Brigade's already been deployed.
We've got a lot more pictures. I think I took 60.
Yeah, we just couldn't get them on here. And in fact, the one that you had to cut with me on there in the Colonel Lee's outfit showed the deployment of Heath's division really well, because it was spread out here.
Right. Let me try something here. Hold my beer and watch this. Let's see here.
You know what happens when you have somebody to hold your beer? You got to go get another beer.
There it is. Look at that. Who is good with the tech, man?
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that sharp looking man. So that's Heath's attack there.
Yep. And they're all spread out across here. This is a pretty impressive battlefield we put together. We had pretty much half of Gettysburg modeled here.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, and I got to give a shout out as always to my church for letting us rent this fellowship hall here. I mean, and pretty much have it for the whole day, because I think it took Randy. We allocated I think 2 hours for setup, and it took closer to 3.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah, we went through a few design changes to make it, and we finally came up with something I think that really looked right. It's kind of a little of a horseshoe shape here.
Yep.
And that's kind of the way things were. And you can see Culp's Hill in the upper right. It was solid wooded hill. And so what we did there was, you see the Confederates deployed off to the right. It took them a while. I think we allotted, was it 8 turns for this battle? And they had to get a brigade on the other side of. So I don't see the up on this hill. There should be some trees, barricades.
They were deployed later in the game, or maybe this was.
Yeah, was it turn 4?
Yeah, they were deployed by Union forces later in the game, so they weren't up there to begin with.
Yeah, so there was like one regiment shows up in turn 4 with a barricade, and in every turn after that, they added to the barricade, representing them digging in and cutting trees down and building a barricade on the top of this hill. And that was the Confederates' golden age.
Somewhere just recently that's one of the things troops on both sides did, is they would, but I think especially the Confederates, they would dig in a heartbeat. I mean, we think of World War I, World War II, World War I especially, troops they stop for a minute and they start digging in. But apparently the Confederates were rather known for that. They would dig in and fortify pretty quickly. And obviously, here we got a Union unit doing it, but we could have a whole show about how and people have, there's whole books written on how, the wars of the 1860s, whether it's the American War between the states or the Crimean War, really kind of were previews of what would happen about 50 years later in the Great War, because while the tactics didn't change much, the weapon lethality had, increased incredibly. I know there's a special rule in Black Powder American Civil War that I think essentially American troops either won't charge, or if they charge, they've got to make a special check. Seeing the elephant, if they've seen the elephant, it's they won't charge. just full stop. So I also like to tell the story. It wasn't black powder. We were actually using a modified version of Warhammer English Civil War rules, and we decided we'd try a cavalry charge against formed troops, and that cavalry unit disintegrated like a dirt clod in the rainstorm. I mean, they were gone. We all had to stop for a minute and say, well, now we know why they didn't do that. So, wow. But Randy, yeah, and guys, Randy came up with the entire layout here, and Randy's one of those people. If you ever see him running a game at a con, although since he started chasing the tournament ball, he doesn't do it quite as often. But if he's running your game, if you see us promoting a game that Randy's running, you want to be in it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So which one was it? I don't think it was Recon. Maybe it was Huracan last year. I ran a Gettysburg game, or not Gettysburg, but Black Powder.
Right.
It was Stonewall Jackson. It was out of the book too, I think.
Yeah.
I ran a game, and that went pretty well.
Black Powder, I usually will run. I've got a convention scenario I run called Chance Encounter, and it's always full. It's always 6 players.
Yeah.
Black Powder is a very easy game to pick up. It's what makes it a good convention game. It's what makes it a good game for people that don't regularly play column, line, square, Napoleonics, any of that, because you can get people started. You can even get people started and then introduce some of the advanced rules as you go. By the end of turn 1, generally people know what's going on. And our game had a little bit of everything, brother. We had, of course, skirmishers, mixed formations, just a little bit of everything. So here's some of the troop deployments. And actually, this is during the game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where they were. So the push through Gettysburg went pretty historical, actually. I would say they were able to push through Gettysburg quite easily. Getting to Culp's Hill was kind of a slugfest, though. It took them a long time to get through these woods.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the very last turn they managed to get a regiment on top of the hill.
Right. Right. And in retrospect, and this was I maybe zigged when I should have zagged. I was playing the Union, and I opted to push forward and reinforce. And my troops ended up getting cut off and defeated in detail, so they weren't available to fall back onto the hill.
Yeah, so go back to that last picture, Mike.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so let's see if we can see it here. I think it's in the. Yeah, it doesn't really show it much. So if you look at the upper left and you see the town of Gettysburg there, Mike was in charge of some troops coming in column to meet the advance. There was already some Union forces deployed here in front of the town, or at the town. And then Mike had some troops that were coming up to reinforce. And I think you went straight into town to try to help blunt the attack instead of pushing towards Culp's Hill and trying to secure it.
Right.
So with that being said, we had two. I don't know how to say it. They're just monumental blunders in this game. If Mike remembers, so on my side of the board at Heath's attack, my pushing up against the Iron Brigade, I rolled a blunder, and I was having trouble moving forward because I'd already failed one order test, and I was kind of piecemeal pushing forward. Yep. And so I did a brigade order, and I blundered, and I rolled a charge with the blunder, and I got 3 moves forward, which was actually great. I mean, it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So, like, gee, don't do me any favors.
So that helped quite a bit. And then, Mike, you blundered over on the other side, on your side, and it led to a massive, I mean, so what happened with your blunder? Because you lost 3 units.
I think I blundered forward in a charge also because my guys ended up surrounded and just getting chopped, and I couldn't. I think again, I kept moving forward, and maybe I should have recoiled, or I tried to recoil. I think I had a blunder, and then I had a couple fails. So my guys blundered forward, And to be honest, you read some of these stories you read some of the historical accounts, and absolutely like something that could have happened. I blundered forward. We had a command breakdown, and basically my guys couldn't figure out which way was up. Meanwhile, Confederates were like, "Heck yeah, Yankees at point blank range. Thank you very much."
Yeah,
You
and I
know.
think you got infilated too because
Oh
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
so.
That was double bonus. I now that you had to bring that up, didn't you? But yes, I did get inflated, and yeah, it was bad. And so the entire left flank of Culp's Hill just collapsed, and the
Yeah.
Confederates were able to press there and then move forward very aggressively on the other side. And poor
Yeah.
Adam, he was like, "I'm just dog meat." But we did hold off Heath's attack
Yeah.
on Seminary
Yeah.
Ridge, um, which historically was, I think, what they did. So we
Yeah.
did at least
I was
roll
not
forward,
able
but
to get any kind of. I think I was about halfway up the hill, and
yeah,
the Iron Brigade was really pushing back hard. But
yeah,
um, the left flank of the Confederates did pretty well at pushing towards the seminary.
yes,
I
yeah,
think they broke a Cutler's brigade, chopped it up pretty bad. It was just pushing them back
yeah.
really hard.
And again, if you look at the upper left-hand corner, you can see the picture of the seminary. It's a big old building,
Yeah,
and yes, it's for sale at Gator Games and Books, and it's a beautiful piece. But
nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, you guys at Gettysburg and everything. That was the thing is, boy, you guys punched through Gettysburg a lot faster than I thought you would. Kind
yeah,
of put me off my tempo, also helping defend Culp's Hill. One of the other things I did is I made good use of skirmishers, the Iron Brigade, as skirmishers as
yeah.
opposed to being in line, and it's a novelty of the black powder system. Um, that
Oh,
skirmish units can fire 360, and you can trace that line of fire from any figure, and you get full dice. And so, generally, I think you can only do one brigade in skirmish, and I think that's pretty. I did, or one regiment out of a brigade, and I had one regiment out of each brigade that was fully deployed to skirmishers,
yeah.
and
So
they were
that
hard to
one, it
move.
was a tiny unit too, and you put it right on the road, and
Come
it
get
just
some.
stopped us. We were trying to push up the road, and we couldn't shoot it off. We couldn't do anything.
I think you
And,
finally charged them and broke them up.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, they gave you nothing but fits. It was awesome. They all got CMHs. They were good troops. So gosh, um, one of the things I like about playing Black Powder with you is it's always so much fun, and it makes a nice change from from some of the other stuff we play. I think I got another image here. Let me see if I can get this to pull up.
yeah. Maybe some
Haven't
close up.
haven't crapped out the computer yet. Let's see here. Oh, it did it. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's some close-ups. Yeah, PowerPoint. This is all done in PowerPoint, and it will really do some fun stuff with pictures.
Yeah,
And yeah, so now you see some close-ups, of different things that were going on. Here you got the Confederates and the Union. So what I have is one master picture there, and you can see all the fighting. It's amazing, and then all the guys having a good time.
yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, so these miniatures, they're 20 millimeter, um, and I'm gonna be selling these pretty soon. I may take them to Huracan because I want to switch over to the Epic.
Right.
I think we can get more on the table, and they look a little fuller
They
than
do.
these. So
Yeah.
the only thing I
Well,
would miss, I think, is my artillery pieces are really cool looking compared to the epics are all the same. Whereas I've got like every style of cannon. I've got Napoleons, I've got rifled guns, I've got howitzers, and they're all actual models of you don't have
right.
to you know
So one of the things that we did, I was working on a commission for somebody, and we did some of the guns with steel barrels
hmm,
to simulate like rifled cannons as opposed to the bronze smooth bores.
yeah,
So that's one way that you can do that. Honestly, in a pinch, you can probably get the guns in 15 millimeter from somebody not Warlord.
That's true.
I know there's people that will poo-poo and say, "Well, the Warlord's only 13 millimeter." I've heard 13. I've heard 15. I think it's all in what they're your miniatures, and it's all in what you want to do with them. I might have some more pictures here, Randy. Hang on just a minute. Hey, look at that.
Oh, nice.
There you
Iron
go.
Brigade coming up.
Yeah.
Um,
Seminary Ridge.
no, this is gosh, this is Seminary Ridge is behind you. This is what's the name of that hill? McPherson's Ridge, maybe.
I think so. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good shot. So Adam took some. Adam got some shots.
Is right there. It's right there on the ridge too.
So, and here's the view from the Confederate lines toward Culp's Hill.
Yep.
And by this point of the game, as you can tell, I'm pretty worn out. They've been blasting away at my poor troops. I'm like, all right, not one step forward. Yeah, okay. So there you go. But like I said, we took. I might compile some others up here too. So as y'all may know, me and Randy this is a work in progress for us, and we're all the time learning. So adding the pictures in was kind of a cool thing. Let's see here, image file. So I still got a butt ton of these, I think, hanging out in the gallery. Nope, I pulled them. Yeah, I pulled them for the bolt action. My computer's only got so much room on it. So they are, however, like I said, they're all over on my Patreon page. I downloaded them all there. Patreon's $5 a month, helps support the channel. And I'm starting to put, stuff like that over there. If you want to see more pictures or you want to see, I put all the Army lists from our last tournament over there. So they're over there as well.
Mike, something that I've seen with other channels is if you have patrons, and you can put them, like when we do a battle report, you can put your patrons as in charge of, like a lieutenant or a command tank, and that's kind of like they're in the battle. Yeah,
absolutely. So that was our big Gettysburg game. Randy, are we going to try and do any more black powder before next year? It would help us run things if we played it a little bit more often.
Yeah, it would. I want to do something just a custom, maybe not something historical. That way we can just put the minis out. We don't have to worry about what units we're putting out, and and it's more evenly balanced too. Because when we do historical, we typically try to put the forces out as they were historically, and to be honest, the Confederates had way more troops than the Union in this. But the Union had the job of just defending, and that was a tough task to push them back. So.
Yeah, I know. I ran a scenario with Brent one time where I put a brigade in bivouac, and it had to roll to come alert. Before it could even begin. Oh yeah, it was fun. I was just teaching Brent the game, and I think I ran maybe only 3 brigades total. So it was basically one small division. I think I got that right. 3 regiments total, so basically one brigade. But it was a lot of fun. So that's so there you go. Now you had something. It would not be the Mike and Randy show, of course, if we didn't talk about either squad leader or bolt action.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I don't have any squad leader observations yet, but you had something you wanted to show us for your bolt action collection.
Yeah. So this is all right. So and honestly, I'm going to do on my YouTube channel. I'm going to, once I get the book in my hand, I'm going to do a review, my candid thoughts about the British armies of Great Britain. I've already seen it on my app, and we're gonna have fun with it.
There you go.
So
There you
there's
go.
some units that that show a little promise, and this is one I'm going to try out. I know people typically don't use heavy artillery, but this is the
Look at
3.7
that.
quick firing anti-aircraft gun. It's kind of like a Flak 88. It's a British version of it.
Right.
It's a 360 rotating platform.
Yeah.
It has 6 crew, and it's 100 points, which is not bad. It's a heavy anti-tank gun. It's not super heavy, but it does have 2-inch HE, and it's got 6 guys, 360 degrees, so you can put it on ambush, and it doesn't matter where the enemy comes from. You can shoot. The
Still ready to fire
downside,
one? Still ready to fire one?
yeah, just one.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good anti-tank weapon. Has good range. The nice thing about it is the 6 crewmen, and as you noticed, I didn't model my crewmen on the base, because what I want to do is when I put them out, I want to spread them out to the maximum that I can. So you have to have them within 2 inches of any part of the gun, and the guys have to stay within 1 inch of each other. So the way I figured it, you can. So if you got it like this, you can do a semicircle of guys like this with 6 of them. So that means like a 3-inch or a 2-inch AT is still only going to catch 2 or 3 guys maximum. And I plan to have another artillery piece, maybe a land mattress. I think that I tried that within 12 inches, so that if you do lose a couple guys, you can run some over. You only need 1 guy to run the land mattress, so you can run 2 guys over there, and it's no big deal.
Okay.
You can't move it. That's the bad thing. Even with if you had a tow, which is going to cost you points, it's going to cost you a dice. If somebody's zeroing in on it, then you've got to hook it up. You got to move it. You got to unhook it and fire again, and it's going to cost you like 2 or 3 rounds to do all that. So if they zero in on you, it's pretty much out of the game. So your best bet is just to take the casualties and try to reinforce it and make it last as many turns as you can.
And go hunting for whatever's trying to drop indirect on you.
Yeah. So if you're facing somebody with a lot of armor, you put anti-tank and put it on ambush, and just lock down a lane on the battlefield, because they're not going to cross it. Because
Right.
it will knock something out.
Fantastic. Okay.
If you're running against a heavy infantry, then you throw HE in it and put it on ambush.
Also more trouble.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Now, historically, have you had a chance to research? Did the British actually use that as a forward?
Yeah, actually, they did. It was used quite a bit.
Really?
The one downside is that
High silhouette.
they call it an improvised roll. So it was typically an anti-aircraft gun, but they used it for infantry. But because you have to rotate this gun's designed to shoot up, in order to lower it down and shoot at infantry, it's quite a bit of a strain. You're cranking this thing, to kind of go from here down to there, is what really happens. So you take a pin every time you fire.
Oh.
Yeah. Kind of like the land mattress. When you fire, you take a pin. But especially with the British officers now getting a bonus of 3, 1 pin really doesn't matter. You stick an officer in there in between the 2 guns, and he gives them a bonus. So you take the pin, you roll it off the next turn. Unless you foobar, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool beans. All right. Good bit of history there too. Of course, the German 88 gets all the press,
Yeah.
But that 3.7 would have been just as much of a threat. And I promise you, little tigers and panthers didn't want to get in front of that thing.
So what people don't realize, and of course the 88's like 140 points, but a 5-man crew, I think with some of the smaller heavy guns, you can knock them out in a turn or 2. but 6 or 7, I think the Flak 88 7-man, if I'm not
Wow.
mistaken.
It was a big crew.
It's hard to, if you space the guys out right, it'll take you several turns, even if you're zeroed in, to take them out. And in the meantime, they're going to continue to keep firing.
Right. I think on the table of organization, the Flak 88 had a 10-man crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do know that it uses 2 crew counters in squad leader.
Wow.
I managed to work that in there.
Yeah.
So wow, yeah, because I learned about the 88s in squad leader when I did Cross of Iron. Haven't used them in the latest iteration, and I would bet you that British 37's in there, and I'll bet you it uses a couple of crew counters as well.
Yeah.
Looks like it's got a big crew going on. So, all right. Well, best of luck to you with that new piece of equipment. I know, in all honesty, if anybody's following bolt action right now, the British book is not. It's presenting some challenges for players. I got to tell you, folks have picked it up though, and I think we're going to see some people that take that book and take the units that are in it and work around the challenges and take advantage of the strengths. So, and that 3.7 is a prime example of that. Something that, by the way, it's not available as a miniature from anyone. You'll have to.
No, I had to get that 3D printed. Nobody makes it, and as a matter of fact, this. So the file that I got for this, my neighbor prints these for me. He said it wasn't even a real 3D printed file, and it wasn't scaled right. It was like this big, so he had to go and find the actual dimensions of the gun historically and scale it up. But this is really hard to get, and I don't know if you can see the detail of the gears. It's a fantastic 3D print. Look at all the gear work and the.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
You know what you should do is take some pictures and put some stills up on your YouTube channel, and then put some stills up on Facebook. That's fantastic work. So that's
so what I'm going to do, Mike, is once I get the book, I'll go through every single unit and give my honest opinion of the rules and the units, what I think about them. And so I think I purchased a Cromwell because of the book. Cromwell's an Armor 9 tank that's now fast.
What the heck?
Yeah. So, and if I've got the model, I'm going to show it. I'm actually getting some the Guy Lizard transports, the Dorchester. I'm getting them printed this weekend.
Now, what makes that so special?
So they're armored transport, but they're closed top.
Okay.
So you can't pin them.
Tracked or wheeled?
They're wheeled.
Okay.
And you can't pin them with rifle fire. So you can move troops without getting them all pinned to death.
Yeah. I want to build. I'm a huge fan of it looks or runs like mechanized cavalry. So my German force list has kind of picked up kind of that flavor. I think I've got 2 half tracks. I need to get a third one. I've got a Puma, and I may even pick up either a second Puma or use that PSW 222. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, it's a funky looking transport, but yeah.
Looks like a hippie bus.
But
all that to be said, because I've got a couple of the priest kangaroos in stock, and I'm probably gonna, once I get my German army where I want it, I'm probably gonna pivot to my British army, and probably do a full platoon of roos, escorted by an M8 and maybe a Humber Mark IV, which I think will just be awesome. Again, Met cavalry for the win.
The roos are kind of cool.
They are.
I've got a kangaroo, a priest kangaroo, and I've got a Stuart kangaroo.
Yeah. Again, first time I saw a kangaroo, I did a double take because it was the Canadian. It was the Buffalo, which I think was the Canadian version of the Sherman, and it was in squad leader, of course. I was looking at the British. I got the British. The old Crescendo of Doom came with the entire British counter mix for World War II, and I'm flipping through and I see these Shermans that are armored transports, and I'm thinking, why the heck didn't they make more of those?
Yeah.
And I think what I've heard is that tactically they weren't enough of an improvement over the half tracks to necessitate doing an actual production line. I think most of the roos were actually kit bashed. They were in theater um, improvisations that the guys did, and that's why you've got so many, uh, Sherman Buffalo Roo or the Priest Roo or the Stewart Roo. It was usually something that was kit bashed in theater. Quite frankly, I think the infantry just were looking for anything to put something between them and Jerry's bullets. So there we
Yeah.
go.
A lot of them were, stuff that was out of production that they weren't really using anymore because they'd already moved up to something better.
Yep.
And so they had all these chassis laying around, and they just said, okay, we'll yank the turret off and we'll use it to haul troops around in.
Right. Right. And who knows how many guys got saved because they were riding around in that instead of having to hoof it. And on the other side too, that freed up half track production, so you can use that half track for something more appropriate, like a gun tow instead of a troop transport.
I will say something too, like how in version 3 that soft skins die pretty quickly now.
Yes.
I don't think historically that was the case, honestly. Um, I don't think, regular trucks got knocked out from rifle fire like they do in bolt action.
Oh gosh, I think they did. Um, they're
I
pretty
mean,
darned easy to knock out in squad leader. You can outright KIA them, but what you get them on is failed morale checks. But they're vulnerable.
well,
You know.
I mean, I would say, immobilization would be easy because you shoot a
Sure.
tire out and it can't
Yeah.
go anywhere. Um, Guys in the truck could seem like they would get wounded more easily than you actually knock out the truck because you have to. I mean, you got to like hit the radiator or something,
Right.
or kill the driver to stop the truck. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, it can take a lot of bullet holes, just like planes. Really, unless you hit a hydraulic line, or a fuel line, you're not taking a plane down from a bullet.
Not a single bullet, but
Yeah,
I know
I mean,
the
planes are
uh,
riddled with holes.
right. Right.
I mean, they're flying along with holes everywhere.
Right. The Russians actually, they would strap a gun on anything, including a truck, and they would
Yeah,
take these armed trucks and they'd throw them right in the front line. And
yeah.
the Germans more than once commented about how crazy Ivan, strap a 37. Or I think I've seen Russian trucks armed with 37s. I think I even saw one time armed with an 85. Like, wow, just as an Arstaz tank destroyer. So yeah, you're not. I think you're. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I don't think the vulnerability is. Of all the vulnerabilities we have in bolt action, I think that one feels more right than not. Um,
I kind
if
of
you,
think version 2 is more realistic. I mean, they were still kind of easy to kill. I mean, you didn't have superficial damage in version 2. Basically, if you went to damage, it it was knocked out.
right,
But
right,
now it's like once you get that 6, you don't roll in the damage chart. It's just done.
that may be another one of those things they did to streamline the game.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I see your point on that because I know in version 2 you were just famous for your wheeled vehicle assault hordes.
yeah. That was the plan. I mean, 10-man trucks with 10-man Gurkhas, and I just pushed them right on into the fight. I mean, I didn't
Right,
do it.
right. And then to your point though, thinking historically, um, the LRDG, that's what they fought in. They fought in trucks,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
of course the SAS fought in jeeps. So yeah, maybe so. So
they were at
there
least
we go.
smart enough to put iron plates on the front of the Jeep, though. The
Right.
SAS. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the American Airborne armored up some jeeps and then turned them into basically rolling machine gun pillboxes. So those are fun too. They got 50 cals on them. So armored truck, something to think about. So Yeah,
That's
not.
not a bad. A 50 cal Jeep's not a bad uh, plan because you've got a 48-inch range now, and
Yep.
you can stay outside of rifle range of any kind, or machine guns and rifles, and
Right.
just shoot away.
That's true. That's true. And if you got recce, you can recce away if you get
Hmm.
shot at. But even without recce, 48 inches away, you're going to see something coming. You're going to have an opportunity possibly to maneuver to get away from it, and you can
So,
still fire after you move.
so the key with that is hard cover. If you can find something hard cover for them
Put them
and
behind a
stick them
wall.
at extreme range, they're pretty survivable. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Hard. You park that bad boy behind a wall. He's got a four up save.
Hmm.
And then first you got to get the wound, and good luck on that. And then a 4-up save. So of course that wouldn't help me. I'd get a wound. I'd roll a
Yeah,
1. My
roll
Jeep
a
would
one.
burn. I would just look at Randy and go, "Really?" And you'd be like, "Mm-hmm, yep."
The only time I've seen you roll something beside ones is black powder, and you rolled boxcars for a blunder.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think I had 2 blunders during my bolt action game this last weekend. It's like, really?
Uh,
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's fun. But hey, the dice keep things interesting. All right. Well, there you go, folks. This is me and Randy's take on Gettysburg. We do this every year. If you got questions or comments, man, drop them in the section below. If you got any questions
I
about
know.
how we handle scales, like Randy said, we played and we've been playing Black Powder with him with the 20s for years.
Yeah.
Um, and then, of course, now we're all looking to pivot over to the epic scale, not just because I sell it, but because of how good it looks on the table. It's big enough to be recognizable, small enough that you can run them in decent concentrations, and they actually look like full line troops. Although Randy, even at the 20s, I've always felt like our tables looked really fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So good work there. And then a nice sneak preview on your 3.7 AA gun. I'm sure all the people that may face you in tournaments are going to look forward to seeing that thing across the battlefield. Probably parked away in some corner where it covers the entire angle. It's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead and cross that if you like.
Split this battlefield in half.
Yeah, there we go.
Um, so speaking of foo bars, I just had a thought.
Oh no,
Ford,
my quick
Ford
effect.
artillery. Yeah, you see the smoke, right?
Right,
Ford artillery observer. He has a pin, so you have to make a morale check, right?
right.
You roll a foo bar. You roll friendly fire. What does he do? Does your opponent get to place the bombardment marker where within 12 inches of a? Does he get to place it, or does he just go down?
Well, I'll tell you,
Yeah,
I'm going to give you my interpretation, but I would
yeah,
love for our listeners to weigh in on this. I think what he would do, since it's a foo bar, and if he gets a friendly fire, he's gonna engage that friendly unit. So if you remember friendly fire, there's got to be an enemy unit. I think there's got to be one of your units within range of your guy, and I think within 12 inches of an enemy unit.
yeah.
I'm sure someone will correct me on that if I'm wrong, which is fine. But given all those stipulations, I don't think he's going to call the arty in. If he's got a sidearm or a rifle, I think he's going to shoot.
Shoot at him.
I don't think he's going to call the arty in.
Yeah,
But what do you folks think? Put a comment in the section
yeah.
below.
So
Tell
throw
us
that
tell
in
us
there
how you play it. Yeah, I
because
like that.
I've actually had something similar happen with a mortar.
Right.
I rolled a foo bar, and they ruled that the mortar, instead of calling it in where I wanted to, he called it in on one of my units.
Now, a mortar firing effectively indirect but direct, where it's spotting for itself. That's what happened, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would now there. I would say you could call in friendly fire.
yeah,
That would make sense because you think about it. That mortar that's that unit's primary weapon.
yeah.
Whereas with a spotter, he's going to panic. Oh my gosh, I see guys moving in the trees, and he's going to engage them with his small alarms rather than taking time to call in that artillery shot. That's how I
Yeah.
would, if I were ruling it, that's how I would rule it. It looks like I froze up there for a minute. So there
Ooh.
we
Of course, they
go.
picked my unit that was in a building.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
HE for the win.
Fortunately, it went off on the upper floor instead of the lower floor, so it didn't kill them. And the next turn, I was able to get that fixed, so I
Pop
didn't
that, pop that
didn't
mortar
start
gun in the back
ranging
of the head.
it.
Get it right.
I think I was playing Dwayne Mann, and that
Okay.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a city battle.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and cool. Just a couple things by way of preview. Randy and I are going to be doing, in addition to reviewing the version 3 book, once we finally get it. Those things don't always ship automatically unless you order them like way direct. And then you got to make sure you don't order anything else with them, because anything else you order tends to hang up. So mine are on the way. I should have them. They say the shipping labels have been printed. I would assume I'll have the books, probably Randy, by this weekend or Monday. But the other thing that's coming with that is the Battle of the Bulge books. Now, we've had lots of conversations within our group, and I know you and I have, about, okay, bolt action, we know it's tailored heavily for tournament play. There's lots of folks that love that. But then there's also an entire part of the community that really prefers narrative play.
Yeah.
And so Randy and I are going to review that Bulge book, and ideally play one or two scenarios from that, either get still pictures, or if we're really lucky, either me or Randy or Adam, one of our digital guys, will get a video recording of it, and we'll post that up. So be looking for that. Not going to say it's going to be tomorrow, because we may have to tailor some units for whatever scenario, but just a different way of playing bolt action that we kind of want to try out. I mean, it may be, I know, Randy, you're hot to trot to train for Huracan, but maybe we can squeeze that in sometime between now and then and kind of just give it a try. Anything that works under general taxes is going to be good anyway. So be looking for that.
I've been wanting to do Bastogne.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
And then also be looking, I think the next book to drop is going to be the Soviets. So Randy has, thought about maybe running Soviets.
I would be okay. So I got to do it. So everybody knows I'm a little bent because Gurkhas are in the core rule book, but they decided to take them out.
They're going to be in the Commonwealth rule book, Randy.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
So I would just be tickled to death if there were no dog mines in the armies of Russia.
Amen.
Soviet Union.
Yeah, amen. Historically, there's a reason the Russians only used them a little bit. They weren't that effective. So,
right.
There we go. Dog mines are dog what?
Dog meat.
Dog meat. There we go. Fantastic. So there we go. Again, folks, hope you enjoyed the show. You got comments, drop them in the section below. If we missed something, I'm sure you'll let us know, and that's half the fun. And if there's something you'd like to see us cover, drop it in the comment section, and we'll get to it. So there you go. That's about everything I have for the folks tonight. How about you, Randy?
Other than that, at some point, me and Mike are going to do another battle report. I'm working on trying to get better at my camera work, and hopefully we'll get you a real quality battle report.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Americans and Germans, I'm thinking. So there we go. All right. Yeah. Very good. Well, y'all, again, do the YouTube things. Click like, click share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you followed us this whole 54 minutes, thank you very much. Best way to support the channel, go buy some merchandise from Gator Games and Books. We sell it 10 to 15% off every day, and we do direct orders from Wargames Atlantic and Warlord Games. So give yourself a treat there. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.
All right.